Hi, welcome back to another edition of Baking with Johnny G and Clara. Today we're going to make a Brooklyn style cheesecake. I've actually never made this cake before. It's a recipe I'm getting off of King Arthur Flour, which is now King Arthur Baking. They actually have a great website, lots of good recipes. And this one claims in its description, what does it say exactly? This is the best cheesecake I've ever eaten. So we gotta try it. It's a two-part cake. We're making basically a sponge cake for the crust, and it's baked in a water bath. It's baked twice. You bake the sponge cake and then you bake the cheesecake in a water bath. So it's kind of unique and it looks good, so we're gonna give it a try. You start off by preheating your oven to 350 degrees. You need a 9-inch spring-form pan. Basically, the bottom can come out. It needs to be at least like 2.5 inches high. This cake is supposed to rise up quite a bit. And I want you to lightly grease it. I used a little bit of vegetable oil in here. And then they also want you to wrap the bottom and sides of this pan with tin foil. And I believe this is in case any of the batter portion may seep out. They're just trying to avoid that. So we're going to wrap this pan, and one piece of foil would be best. So we're going to wrap the bottom and the sides with tin foil, so when it's in the water bath, water can't leak in or cake leak out. I have pre-measured out the ingredients for the crust, the sponge cake crust, it's called. We have a 1/2 cup of unbleached cake flour. I'm using King Arthur pastry flour, which is very similar to cake flour. 2 out of a total of 6 tablespoons granulated sugar, 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, which I've already put in there, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which is in there as well. We have 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 3 eggs separated. The yolks will go into this mixture. You're just going to mix this, beat this real well until it's well blended and smooth. You're just using a paddle. Now, in the other mixing bowl, we're going to take the egg whites, 1/4 teaspoon cream of tartar. This just helps to stabilize the egg white. We're going to whip these egg whites until they're frothy. Once they become frothy, we're going to slowly add the remaining 4 tablespoons granulated sugar. And we're going to whip that till stiff, smooth peaks. Slowly add the sugar. You're going to whip the egg whites till you have stiff, glossy peaks. Basically, you're going to fold the egg whites into the base in 3 parts, trying to retain as much volume, airy volume as possible. Take your first scoop of egg whites. You're going to lose some of your volume, but it's going to loosen the base up. in order to accept the rest of the egg whites. Okay, that's the first third. Just cut and fold, cut and fold. Okay, and then I'm going to put the remaining egg whites in there, incorporate them. Okay, looks pretty good, I think. Okay, then we're going to pour this into our prepared pan and bake at 350 for about 15 minutes. And that's going to go right into the oven without the water bath at this point for about, like I said, 15 minutes. Okay, we baked the sponge for about a total of 16 and a half, 17 minutes. The recipe said, you know, it'll start to brown on top just a little bit, and then as soon as you take it out of the oven, you want to loosen the sides. Now the filling consists of, let me read this off real quick, 2 pounds, that's 4 8-ounce boxes of cream cheese, room temperature. You have 1 2/3 cups granulated sugar, a 1/4 cup cornstarch, 1 tablespoon vanilla, 2 large eggs at room temperature, and 3/4 cup heavy cream at room temperature. The way you prepare the filling is you take 1 pound of the cream cheese, the cornstarch, and 1/3 cup of the sugar, and put that into a mixing bowl. And you're going to mix this portion on slow till it's nice and smooth with a paddle attachment. And then you're going to add the rest of the cream cheese, 1 package at a time. And we're going to add the sugar and vanilla to this mixture. And then we're going to add the eggs 1 at a time. And then you're going to slowly add your cream. This all goes on top of the sponge, which will act as a water bath. Now the safest way to do this is to put the cake in the pan, put the pan in the oven, and then use a pitcher to fill. Don't splash any into your cake. And you want to come up, you know, at least 3/4 way up on the pan, and then gently roll it back into the oven. Now that's going to take 75 to 90 minutes to cook. So we're going to start at 75. Okay, we cooked it for a total, we started at 75 minutes, but we ended up cooking it for a total of about 90 minutes. Little golden brown on top. Cake tester comes out clean. So now we're just going to remove the cake from the water bath, cool it on a rack in the pan for at least 3 hours, you know, outside. And then it'd probably be best if you refrigerated it and served it the next day. We're probably not going to do that. We'll see you about 3 or 4 hours when we slice her open.
first bite.